It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hey guys, what's up? You're watching Up and Adam. My name's Adam Knoll, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm the guy bringing you guys all the weekly interviews and recaps from your favorite celebrities and pop culture influencers. But for those of you who do know me, you know that that's not why we're always here, right? Guys, tonight's no different, but before we get started, you know how this works. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and also hit that notification bell because you guys don't want to miss anything that we have coming up, right? Guys, also before we get started, I just want to address one thing tonight and tonight only because I don't play in dirty water. I just want to say that. Especially in today's climate in 2020, there's so many things going on in the world and there's so much negativity out there being spewed that I just would rather not even engage and take the high road. But unfortunately, when someone is dragging my name through the mud and my integrity, I just have no option but to respond in the best way that I know possible. I was accused of X, Y, and Z, maybe taking a story, I don't even know what it is, taking a story, stealing a story, or something for page 6, and that just is simply not the case. I did an Erica Jane story, Erica Girardi, whatever you want to call her. I did the story, and I did it after reading about it on page 6. I have never sold a story, nor will I ever sell a story. My platform is YouTube, and I love sharing it with all of you guys. Now, I don't need to go any further. You guys understand and obviously know that there's a common denominator here with someone who likes to play dirty and kind of have all of these altercations with other people. That's just simply not me. Right now, I am focused on the angel community, my pop's health, supporting our veterans, giving back, and just everything that is all about uplifting people and just making people feel good. That's exactly why I do this, because I want to have a community that makes people feel good, and I love you guys, I appreciate you guys, and I just appreciate your guys' support. So with that being said, this deserves no more of my attention. You guys asked for a response, that's the response that I'm going to give you, and I will no longer engage, nor will I ever participate on this channel again. However, we do have so many exciting collaborations coming up. Guys, we have so many awesome interviews coming up this week, and I think that we should continue to just focus on that and be excited about that. Guys, with that being said, I've already said too much about this. This deserves no more of our time, so let's move on and let's talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Real Housewives of Atlanta finally premiered, and that's what deserves our attention. Guys, the fact that Nene's not a part of this, it just breaks my heart, but there's so many good things that are coming up with this franchise that I just absolutely cannot wait. So let's dive in. Guys, we've already talked about this, and it's more coronavirus, but listen, I've said this from day one. I would rather have our housewives film during COVID and quarantine than not have any of our housewives at all, as long as they're taking the proper precautions and taking our pandemic seriously, because this is just a trying time and a trying year, and I just don't want to miss any of our favorite Bravo celebrities. We love these women, especially Cynthia, and that's where we start off. Cynthia Bailey invites Kandi and Marlo over for a social distancing kind of get-together in the driveway. Yes, it definitely shows that these are different times, but okay, Marla is her extra self that shows up with the thermometer just to check everybody's temperature, like she is the security at a bar. But good for you, Marlo. Good for you for taking precaution. I don't want to give this kind of silly intro any more love, but I do love Kandi, I do love Marlo, and I love Cynthia, so I just wanted to at least point it out. But I want to move on to something more serious. We watched Kenya talk about how the coronavirus and quarantine has affected her. She says that she's gained over 30 pounds, which I couldn't even tell. I think she looks beautiful and fabulous, and I love Kenya. She does have the ability to get shady, but watching her in this episode really just kind of broke my heart for her. We see her go to an attorney to talk about divorce and custody, and it's just sad. It's sad what she's going through, and if you guys have been following the Real Housewives of Atlanta since day one, you know that really, alongside giving shade and kind of going at people in her own way, all Kenya Moore has really wanted is a family and love. Now, she has her beautiful baby, Brooklyn, but she just wanted someone to be there for her as well. She wanted a man by her side that was going to fully uplift her and support her. And to be honest, is that too much to ask for? I don't think so. So watching her meet with this lawyer, the lawyer had to kind of reassure her and say, listen, Kenya, you got this. Who are you? You know who you are. Don't let people tear you down. You got this. And was kind of just really telling her, you're going to be okay. And I want Kenya to know, if she ever sees this video, that we support you too, and you are going to be okay. There's no excuse for a man to talk to you that way or treat you in any kind of foul way ever, no matter how you act or whatever the case is. I just firmly stand in my truth that I feel like men should treat women a certain way. It's the way that I was raised, and I don't think it's okay. So for Kenya, if it makes sense for you to get out of this marriage, get a divorce, and take custody of your baby, I completely stand behind her on that. She's a smart businesswoman and also what seems to be like a great mother. So if she believes this is the right move, we support her. Then we see Porsha Williams moving on in a more serious, even more serious than Kenya's situation. Going to Louisville, Kentucky. We see her going to be on the front lines of this whole Black Lives Matter movement, which is extremely serious, guys. This is 2020, and there have been so many ups and downs this year. But if anything, at least people are being heard and changes are going into effect. So the fact is that Porsha went on the front lines and she's supporting this protest, and she actually got arrested for doing so, but she is following in the steps of her grandfather, Jose Williams, and also she is supporting the fact that it's wrong what happened to Breonna Taylor. Now, guys, I didn't see any of the other castmates really going to the front lines and being a part of this protest. However, Porsha really put herself in it. She really kind of immersed herself into all of it. So good for Porsha. I'm sure that there are so many people watching her, so many people listening to her and listening to how her voice, so many people listening to how her voice has kind of affected and made a change. And I just think it's a beautiful thing when people really stand up for what's right. I just want to say that. You know, Porsha was heard. So many other people were heard. And change is going into effect. With that being said, thank you so much, Porsha, honestly, because so many people can say so many different things, but you know, at least she was there. She showed up, and watching her hug Breonna Taylor's mom, and just Breonna Taylor's mom being a part of that just obviously, you know, I'm sure there's so many people watching this tonight that got really choked up. And I just want to say, and I'm sure everyone else wants to say, to all of the people who put themselves out there and put themselves on the lines, just thank you for being a part of a movement and being peaceful protesters. Moving on, guys, we see Candy, Todd, Riley, Ace, all of them. Guys, did you see Riley? She's stunning. She's growing up and she's going to NYU. She's so beautiful. And it's not like she wasn't beautiful now, but she's like full on just kind of confident, come into her own. And guys, we've seen her on many of the other episodes before, and I just want to say one thing. It can't be easy having a whole production team and camera A, camera B, camera C in your face when you're talking to your mom or having these intimate conversations, especially when you're a kid. And she's grown up with these cameras in her face. But watching her tonight, she just looks like she's fully confident and in her own and just growing into this smart, intellectual, beautiful young woman. She's going to NYU, and you know, Candy pointed out the fact that this is expensive. This is a lot of money, and it's going to cost just buku bucks in order to send her to NYU. Now, Riley said, you pay for my high school, and I kind of thought, nobody ever paid for my high school, but I guess that's because I went to public school and not private school. So listen, good for you, Riley. But Candy went on to say that, no, NYU is a little bit more expensive than high school, darling. Like, it's totally different. But Riley said, why doesn't my dad pay for it? He hasn't paid child support. Whoop! Okay, Riley, go on now. Candy agrees, though. She's like, you can't drive around a Bentley and make millions of dollars and then owe me over $100,000 in back paid child support and not pay it. So she's kind of having the tough conversation with Riley, like, well, what do you think? And Riley's like, I think pretty much, she didn't say this verbatim, but pretty much she's saying, you need to go get that money and we need to pay for school. So he needs to pay up. I was like, okay, Riley, go on now. Todd, take note. You better never leave Candy, because if you do, you better have that child support waiting, because I have a feeling that Ace would be staying put. Now moving on, guys, I want to go back to Kenya because we see Cynthia and them show up and see Kenya's place, and she's building a pool. Kenya's like, okay, you're building this pool, like, go on, Kenya. And I thought it was great. I thought the fact that she's moving on and moving forward without Mark the best way that she knows how is refreshing. It just shows people, like, listen, life is not over when somebody decides to kind of cut you out or treat you a certain way. You have to just put on your big girl pants and keep it moving. Even though it's hard, there are so many people watching Kenya more, and so many people who are just getting help, knowing that they're going to be okay too if they leave their tumultuous situation. So for that, I just want to thank Kenya, because honestly, I know that you guys think that this might sound silly, or maybe some of you don't, but she really is helping so many people by just showing them she will be okay and life moves on. You don't have to let somebody talk to you like you're crazy or treat you a certain way that's not conducive to a healthy lifestyle. Even Cynthia pointed this out. She feels like Mark does not talk to Kenya the right way. Guys, we saw in the previous season where Mark does kind of treat Kenya a certain way, and even when he walked out and said that he, I don't know, it wasn't verbatim, but wish he wouldn't have got married and blah, blah, blah. The point is, he's never actually usually around, and when he is around, he talks to Kenya like she's down here and he's up here. That's not okay. Who would want to be with a partner like that? Who would even want to entertain having a partner like that? So if that's the case, and this is actually the full story, and he's not just this big cuddlebug love muffin behind the scenes, then I agree with Cynthia, and Candy. It's time to move on and cut your losses, because nobody deserves to be treated like this. Speaking of Cynthia, we actually go back to Lake Bailey, and we see Cynthia talking to her fiance at the time, Mike Hill. When Cynthia's talking to Mike, he's sitting there flirting, and he's like, your butt grew during quarantine. Now, she was saying that she was clocking in on the scale at about 180, and that might have shifted a little bit, so now she has to be weary. But listen, I just want to say, Cynthia, Jason and I, we met you. You're beautiful then. You're still beautiful now. You always look amazing. Honestly, guys, if you met this woman in person, she has such a presence. She's absolutely stunning. Her personality is infectious. Her smile is stunning. I can totally see why she was a supermodel. And I'm not just blowing smoke or giving her fluff. It's like when you actually meet somebody, you can speak on their behalf. I feel like, especially when it's something so surface, but I do want to say that she is just an incredible person. Now, when Cynthia is talking to her fiance, Mike, they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with this wedding. Now, Mike's like, listen, I don't care if coronavirus messes this up and we can't have any wedding and nobody can show up. It's not about the wedding for me. I just want to marry you. It's about my partnership with you. Now, when Cynthia was told that she has to cut her party list from 250 people to 50 people, she was like, what? And that obviously was a big red flag for her. Cynthia's hyper-focused on getting married on 10-10-20. That's her date. And I'm not a bride, so I don't really know what these dates mean. But sometimes people really do get fixated on the numbers. 10-10-20, those are her numbers, and that's the date that she wants to get married on. She set her sights on it. And when he starts asking her, about her thoughts and her feelings, it kind of made sense what she was saying. After watching a flashback of her getting married to Peter Thomas, she just kind of went on to explain that that marriage wasn't great. There was a lot of odds against them at the time. There was really no funds to get married. And we even see in the flashback where her mom and her sister debate even handing over the marriage license, which was a tough watch. I'm sure she even looks back at that sometimes and was like, wow. Maybe they were onto something, because obviously the marriage didn't pan out. For Mike Hill, though, he, again, does not care about any of this nonsense. He just wants to marry the love of his life. So even though this affects Cynthia because she wants her dream wedding, I want to say, Cynthia, it sounds like you have a keeper, and maybe there are bigger things to focus on, like keeping him, and not so much about this wedding that's going to be over in 4 hours. I'm just saying, priorities, Cynthia, priorities. We still love you. Mike actually asked her the tough question of, am I not enough? She says, yes, you are enough, but she wants her dream wedding. Again, guys, he just went on to say, I'm not hearing what I want to hear. This was kind of cringeworthy, so I hope that this gets resolved. And we know it gets resolved because we know they ended up getting married. But in this moment, it was a little bit of a tough watch. I'm curious if you guys think that this was a tough watch as well. If you don't, comment below and let me know. Some of you guys are going to say this was reaching for a storyline, and some of you guys are going to say, no, I completely agree, and it had to have been hard trying to navigate a wedding during coronavirus. I'm sure your guys' thoughts are all over the board, and I would love to hear them. So again, guys, comment below, let me know. Also, guys, moving back over to Porsha, after 13 hours in jail being arrested, she was finally released, along 87 other protesters. Now, when they were released, they obviously celebrated a victory of just being heard. They knew, and Porsha knows, that this was all documented, this is going to be on Bravo, and their voices are going to be just amplified even more because it's going to be on a public national platform. Good for you, Porsha. Honestly, good for you. And I say that because this was completely peaceful. Just watching her go through the process and go from different locations, and it gets your emotions going, it gets your heart going, and it just makes you want to be a better person. If it doesn't, I just don't understand if you were watching the same thing. But really, I'm totally here for Porsha. She's my new favorite housewife of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think she is the front runner now, especially because Nene Leakes is gone. Like, Porsha is the main woman. So Porsha, again, we stand you, we love you, we appreciate you, and I'm sure so many other people do too. When producers asked Porsha, what is the biggest takeaway that you got from these protesting and being put in jail and everything that came with this, the biggest takeaway is, I'm going to do it again. And when she said that, she looked right in the camera with conviction. Like, if it happens again, I'm going to do it again. If there are protests and someone wants me to be a part of this movement, I am more than happy to put myself out there for my daughter, my future son, maybe their future daughters and sons, and future generations to come. Everybody all over the world who may not be as willing to stand up, but they have the same beliefs. Porsha just exercises her belief that she is going to stand up and she's going to be there for what's right. And again, guys, I can't say this enough. This is kind of like, it's turning into an appreciation video, but we just really appreciate a public personality who is willing to put themselves on the front line. Now, guys, that's what ended this episode, but there's so much coming up. This is going to be such a great season, and we're going to get our new housewife, Drew Sidora. I'm so excited for her. Now, we didn't start off with her in the first episode, but we are still going to get her. I believe she's Cynthia's friend, and she's bringing the flavor to ATL. Woo! Did you guys see her? And Kenya has a big girl crush on her, which is even funnier. I think that she is going to be amazing. I've been saying this since day one. If you guys know me or watch my channel or have seen me on anybody else's channel, you guys know that I personally believe that Drew Sidora is going to be a front runner. I just think that she has not gone to housewives school. She's not coming in super calculated. She's coming in as her true authentic self, and I'm here for it. I'm always here for a new housewife, just like on New York when we got Leah McSweeney, who was unapologetically herself, and she added so much dimension to that franchise. She just changed it up. She sauteed, flip-flop, and flambéed this whole situation and made it even more spicy. So I'm excited for Drew Sidora to do the exact same thing. Now, speaking of Kenya, we see where her lawyer is talking about the fact that her partner, I don't even know what to call this guy anymore, but Mark ended up filing not only for divorce, but also asking for alimony. Dude, you have a successful restaurant in New York. Kenya takes care of the daughter, takes care of your daughter, and alimony? What are you talking about? Is it because it's coronavirus and quarantine and restaurants aren't doing so well, so now you're trying to go to her for funds because she's filming? I just find this absolutely ridiculous and reaching. You want to treat her like she's down here, but then now you want to ask her for money while she's taking care of your kid. I don't necessarily understand it. But again, guys, there's always three sides to every story. Their side, this side, and the truth. Maybe we're not getting the full story, and this is only episode 1, so we have to see how this plays out. We also know coming up in this season that we have the main kind of storyline drama of Strippergate. We know that that's coming up, and you know, Tanya and Porsha were both kind of at the forefront of this just because a lot of people were saying that, well, especially Kenya, that she heard noises coming from a certain room, a bedroom. And now Tanya's saying that people are making disparaging comments about them. Now, Porsha's definitely laughed this off already, so I'm guessing that it's most likely not true, especially because, listen, if this were true, you're not going to come out and be like, you're going to be like, oh, I mean, I don't know how she would be. I would just find her to be maybe more defensive, or we're going to have to watch this play out, but I'm not really buying Strippergate. And if it were in fact true, there has to be some sort of footage or audio. It's going to make for a spicy season. Guys, I'm not going to sit here and speculate. I don't have anybody who's told me yes or no, confirmed nor denied, but I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think that Porsha and Tanya participated in Strippergate? If you do, again, guys, make sure you comment below and let me know. And if you haven't already, make sure you like this video, comment on this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell because we have so many exciting things coming up, and I just don't want you guys to miss any of it. Love and light, guys. Bye.
Thanks for watching Up and Adam.